Hey everybody, I'm out here in the gorgeous flower beds and it is a very breezy, very cool fall day and it's the end of the season. So the frost is about to hit this week, just a couple days away. My heart's getting sad because it's the end of the year, but I wanted to take you on one last tour of our gorgeous flower beds here because they are just so dear to my heart. We've done so many cool things this season yet again, and it's such an awesome honor to be able to work them, continue to help them grow, try and experiment with all sorts of fun things, and just show you how gorgeous everything is before the frost hits. I have to show you my favorite bloom right now, and I have a lot of favorite blooms right now. Would you look at this? Isn't it gorgeous? This is my favorite dahlia this season. I purposely ordered a whole bunch of like orangey, yellowy, rusty colored ones, and this one is just huge. It's dinner plate sized. Got a whole bunch of gorgeous blooms on it. It's got more coming. I have no idea if they're all gonna have time to bloom because it was such an awful season for dahlias this year. But I absolutely just love her. Oh, so pretty. It was just a horrible season because of the drought, the dry. A lot of our dahlias didn't even get a chance to bloom out here. So I'm definitely going to be taking the tubers in, hoping that they overwinter, crossing my fingers that is workable. You never know. It's touch and go. Everybody has a different method and it's hard. I mean, every single garden and every single plant is different. So I am really just savoring the heck out of her. And I've got some other dahlias I want to show you too. It was such a gorgeous morning and the sun was shining. So I did get out here and capture some shots. I'm just going to drop off my stuff in the garden shed here. I captured some gorgeous shots this morning in the garden of the flowers in the sunlight because we have light coming from the east here out over the pasture and it's just so gorgeous. So I thought, gosh, I'm just gonna extract every last good bit of beauty out of this garden before the frost hits and zaps everything and then it all looks dead and not as beautiful. So here are some shots from this morning I also want to share just so you can see the maximum value of the beauty from this morning as well as this afternoon. Okay, coming around the bend here of the shed, we will start here. So we have a full bed here. It's finally looking full after a solid 3 years of growing and adding things to this garden. It had always felt really empty to me because it's the widest part of the garden bed. It's a really wide swath. I'm very happy with it. A lot of the plants are pretty fried and pretty spent at this point, so they're not as, vibrant, but they have done such a great job. I'm so proud of them. These mums just hit their peak, so you can see they're tired out now. But wow, what a display with all of that gorgeous purple. And added some more obedient plant this year. They've even got a couple blooms holding on. The geums decided to start blooming again for another flush right in the fall here, which is really lovely. There's not a ton. I've got a couple blooms, but it makes me happy that they do so well. They do a great job in the spring. One of the first ones to bloom in the spring. I've got blanket flower here, looking great. And I definitely can tell I need to put mulch down, so excuse the shabbiness of the base of the garden bed here. You can see I've got electric cord for the white lights too that needs to be covered by mulch, so it's a little raw, but that's okay. That's how the process goes. Next spring will be fun to fill it in. Candy Tuft did great this year. This was one of the things I wanted to try putting them in along the edge of the garden bed to create more of a consistent perennial thing that would show up across the edge of the outline border. And boy, did they take off. Look at all of these babies. These are all from seeds here that came off the plant. So I very well may run into a problem where I have too many, but right now I want volume, so I'm very happy with them filling up the edge of the border. One of the highlights right now are the dahlias that are blooming. Like I was saying, this one here. Look at this gorgeous one. Just started blooming yesterday. Isn't she just stunning? A couple more blooms on the way. Really, really happy with this new one. Over by the shed, I've got this little doll. I don't know if she's going to open up. Looks like a more yellow one. I hope in the next couple days here, I hope I can still enjoy her. This one looks like it's about to open. Crossing fingers. And I'm going to skip over to this garden bed here to the left of the big arbor to this dahlia. Isn't that gorgeous? What a wonderful bloom. This one started just a couple days ago. Got another one here. Don't know if we're going to be able to see that one in time. I am just so darn proud of how all the flowers have done this season. It is just the most lovely, amazing garden. I got really heartbroken last year when this time came around and I had to like say goodbye to all the beautiful flowers and plants. But this year, I feel like it's the right balance. It's the right time. I know everybody needs to go to bed and get tucked in for the season so they can recoup their effort for next year. And I'm good with it because I'm ready to recoup my energy too. And have a lot of ideas for even like winter sowing. I might try that. And planning for next year, getting ahead of things earlier on than in the past. So really, gardening is a year-round thing, and that's the way I prefer it. The entryway of the gorgeous, charming garden shed, I've started to invest in some perennials here. I've got some sedum. I also started a little bit there. I've got some blanket flower. There's a little bit right there. And some penstemon. So this purple and these green are penstemon. And I also got these plants here. I actually do not remember what they're called, but they are a native and they have red blooms on them. They're not cardinal flower. They dried out. I'm wondering if they just got fried from the season. I have a feeling they're going to come back though. I think they were pretty tough. What I'm trying to do here is eventually get more plants established along this side too, to give it a more soft look with garden elements, you know, bring in more of the plants so that the garden extends from over here and keeps flowing all the way to where the door is on the other side. The honeysuckle here is just enormous. It has done so well. If you're looking for a very dry, tolerant, sun-loving plant that blooms most of the season, this is a winner. And it probably needs something taller to climb. But I've been really, really happy with it. Now that the temperatures have gotten cooler, I'm noticing my poppies are coming back. So this bunch recovered. They really like cooler temps. So they went kaput on me in the summer when it hit really hot back in June, July, even part of August. So I'm really happy to see it back. That's a great sign because now I feel confident they're going to come back in the spring and bloom again. And I just want to establish them. I really, really love poppies. I want a lot of poppies in my garden. The yarrow did really, really great. This I dug out of the pasture, so it was already on the land. It's a huge bunch. Very happy with that. One of the new things, a couple new things I added here recently, investing in more perennials. I just added this evergreen, and it is a shorter, more ornamental kind of evergreen. I am really bad at keeping tags, so I actually can't tell you what it's called. I think it might be a cypress of some sort, but it won't get too tall. I think it might get up to 10 feet tall, if that. Vision here, if you can follow me on this, with that evergreen that's right there, very small right now, is that it will have height as it grows up here, and it will echo the pines on the property line here behind, and add some nice height next to the garden shed and just dimension. Really great evergreen interest, especially in the winter. I love the placement right in front of the boulders, those stones there. I just think it's very, very handsome. Can kind of get a better feel for it here. And I've always wanted some height here, like some sort of tree or a large tall thing that would give more interest in this area of the garden, because it's very much in the center of this larger garden section, if you will. And I love the height from the hydrangea, the pinky winky there, but it was craving something more right here to just help the eye stagger down. I'm also adding, I just added in hardy hibiscus. I don't even know why I'm showing you this, you can't see anything, but this is a hardy hibiscus. It dropped all its leaves and blooms for the season. They look terrible when you first put them in like this, but check that out. That is growth. I'm very confident it will come back next year. And I have a couple more that I put in. They are one of my favorites because they have such impact. They have giant blooms and they get really big and wide. I'll show you in a second. In this garden bed, you can see this is my more established hibiscus. Look at how big that bush is. Look at how big that bush is. Isn't that great? And this is, I want to say 3 years old. So it has grown a lot every single season. I mean, it's probably quadrupled in size, at least. And it gives off these prolific red blooms. There are no more at this point in the season, but they are tropical looking and they are hardy to this zone. So again, if you're looking for a great perennial that is just a ton of va-va-voom visual impact, also great foliage earlier in the season, does a nice job of leafing out, kind of like a hydrangea. This is a wonderful thing to consider because they like heat, they like the sun. So if we go back over here, imagine in front of the hydrangea, I've got a couple of those, and then I also have height with them over here because these are also hibiscus plants. This is a variegated one, and this is a cheesecake one with lighter creamy, like white to yellow blooms with red in the center. That plant is doing great. This plant got crabby with me. It did not bloom this season. I just got them this year, so we'll give them time, see what they do next season. I'm not going to talk through every single plant in this garden because I don't have enough time. Like, it would take me forever, but I want to keep pointing out highlights. So aster, I just added. I wanted to have some more fall interest here, and I know they can get tall. I've seen quite a few of them locally. It's one of those things where once you know about something, I feel like this happens when you're shopping for a car too. You suddenly see it everywhere. And so now I'm seeing these bushes everywhere, and they're really big in a lot of the gardens I've seen them in. So I'm excited. I also planted some over here, so that way when you're looking, you know, you're looking at the sight line from the house especially, which is one of the things I'm concerned with. You see a little spot of the purple here and a little bit there, in addition to these mums. Also here next to the evergreen, I added a balloon flower. There's no more blooms on it. It's done for the season, but it did really, really well. And it has these beautiful, they're pretty big, like cup-like blooms with white to blue colored blossoms on them. And they are just gorgeous, and they add excellent height to this area. I'm also very careful that in this garden bed, I'm putting in blooms that have a contrast to the background, because the backdrop is green and there's some darker tones to the background with the pines as well. So I'm making sure to put in things that have lighter colored blooms, like the dahlias, like the Shasta daisies. And these bloom flowers also pop really well against everything. So does the Russian sage, which I'm so excited. It is starting to spread. These are new babies. it actually made its own new babies because I planted these 2 plants last year. So that is so encouraging to see. I'm not used to having a garden mature enough because this is season 3. I'm not used to seeing them make their own babies. It's so great. It's super exciting to me. It's like, oh, you're helping me do this. I don't have to put every plant in. I don't have to put every single plant in manually on my own. Thank you for helping, Mother Nature. It's just really wonderful when it's starting to become a more mature garden and not something that is painstaking effort, manual, dig and plant and sow, and just the work in this bed has been nuts since we restored it 4 years ago. I forget math here, but it's really great that nature's starting to kick in and really help out. It just kind of makes me really happy. It's like, oh, they want to be here and they want to multiply. Yay.